Hey, hey, hey. How you doing? How you been? Welcome back to my channel. Malika here, the founder and financial coach of Fabulous Financials, where I help Black women relieve financial stress and learn to build wealth so they can live whatever they love. And today I have a special guest again, another one that I am sure you are going to absolutely love. And we're going to discuss Black women and wealth. Join us. Hey, Joy.
Hey,
What's up, girl?
same old, which is everything. It's up at the same time. I wish my weekends were restful. I won't say they're not, but two wild children, they are what they
You wear all the hats and do all
are.
the
Pretty much.
things.
Pretty much.
Well, thank you for joining me for this conversation about Black women and wealth. So, you want to share a little bit about your money story with us?
Yes. Malika knows me very well. She knows that I am a black fist raised all the time. And like, I know what's right, what
Power
ain't
to the
right,
people.
how they're getting us and how this and that all the time. Wakanda forever. Like all the time.
Wakanda forever.
Always, man. So I had been reading about how Black people get um, basically overcharged for our homes going and coming. We get overcharged for them to begin with because they can do that to us. But then when we want to turn around and realize our equity, it gets dragged down because once they know we own the house, they under assess it. So the city it has assessing your property at a certain amount, and you're paying all these taxes on that assessed amount. When you go to sell your house and you have the assessor come to, so that you can get ready to sell it, they'll assess you with way less than what you would have thought the house would be worth. So then what happens? You're overpaying on your taxes and you're not realizing all the equity you could realize when you go to sell a house. So they gave us twice going and coming.
Black
And
tax.
the black tax, and it's high. It's a lot. There's Black people's houses. You see these articles that should be worth $1.5 million. They're getting assessed for 800,000. It's a lot of money. It's not talking about pennies.
Yes, that's
It's
a
talking
big
about tens
difference.
of thousands of dollars.
Yes.
So when we moved in, our property tax assessment I thought was insane. It was crazy. And I was like, your property tax assessment is like 40% higher than what we bought the house for. And I was like, you can't tax me on house I don't own. I don't know what it is you're looking at. Come to find out, once upon a time, the house was split. It was 2 units and someone was renting it out. That's what the city had on file. They thought it was a multi-unit dwelling. It's a single family home. If I didn't look at my property tax assessment and ask, I just would have paid the bill. Just
You were in the
paid.
mindset of optimizing, right?
Yes,
You were
yes.
determined to optimize everything.
I was investigating everything. I was like, no, I don't know about all of that. Now, and if it turned out it was legit, it was legit. But I asked. So then I had to get them. I'm like, no, you gonna fix that today. They didn't fix it that day, but eventually they did. Even after that, I went online and I read about contesting property taxes, and I just tactics you can use, looking at comparable homes, sale prices, how long some all these things that I didn't pay attention to before to build a case. How much the house was actually insured for, if it was a total loss, all of those things to pull together those numbers to come up with what I thought was a fair property tax assessment. I contested my property tax assessment every year for about 4 years. And every year they were like, no, we think we're right. After they fixed the initial correction, that the initial problem of it's not a multi-unit dwelling, it's a single family home.
And when
And
they
I'm like,
when they corrected that error, how much did your property taxes go down?
down probably about 10%, which is a lot. But
Yeah.
I was like, it's still overassessed. This
Yeah.
is way overassessed.
Yeah.
And the area, I mean, I still live in the hood. Yes, gentrification is like swirling around, but it ain't all flipped over yet. So I knew that the valuation of the house, I'm like, that's not, if I went to sell this house today, I would not get that. There's no way I would sell it for this. And I just kept contesting it. read those documents, find out when those deadlines are, don't miss them. Said, if you got a problem, you better tell us by April 1st. So that's it. And get your documents together. I had my insurance, what they would pay us if they're like, okay, it's all total loss, here's your check. And I was like, this is all that it's been assessed for. Houses in my zip code comparable to mine, similar square footage, and none of them have this lot size. Nobody has this lot size. It's a big lot. But comparable homes, they may get listed for X amount of money, but they sell for less than that, or they sit on the market for 30 days. That's a long time.
Especially in the DC area.
Yes, and especially the way things were selling like hotcakes for a while. I was like sitting on the market for 30 days because it costs too much. They'll price cut again, then sell the house. So I just kept making this case. I'm like, you guys are overassessing the house with our property tax. You're paying too much for property tax. It's not fair. You don't have the amenities. Somebody in Northwest who doesn't need my tax money is realizing the benefit of tax money. I'm not. I don't see nothing out here like you're overcharging. Those white people don't need my tax dollars. That's why you're spending. I want my money back.
Right.
By the 4th year, I think, nice guy, the tax guy that I was working with the city, because I contested after they denied my contestant, like, no, it's fine. And then I appealed. I was like, no, like,
you were determined. I love it. Persistence pays off.
It does, and you keep gathering your receipts. So I had those 2 articles. I was like, here's a whole article about how people in the DC market are getting, how Black people in the DC market are getting overassessed for taxes and underassessed when it's time to sell the house. It's right here. Here's my zip code. Like, I was like, this is public information.
Right. I'm not making this up. Here are the
facts. I'm like, no, you got to fix it. So finally, I did the appeal, and they were like, okay. I guess I was killing them. Finally, the dude was like, I'm going to come to the house and do a whole thing. I was like, okay, come on. He comes, because we did a Zoom with the people in the tax office, and I did, just like I just said with you. I'm like, y'all are charging me gentrified tax rates in a neighborhood that's not gentrified. And they're like, well, our comp show. I'm like, they do? Let me show you 3, 4 where that's not the case. And then I was like, there's a house across the street that was listed for $600,000, sold for $550,000. I'm like, it's not. They're not selling for that. I don't know what you're looking at. They're not selling for that. That one was on the market 18 weeks before I talked. Like, I was like, I don't know what you guys think, but and then he said, well, didn't you have a renovation done? I was like, bruh, I had to build an upstairs. There's no granite countertops in here. That's not what we did. There was nothing, and we added walls.
The renovations made it livable.
Right. I was like, we didn't. I don't know what you're thinking. One of them HGTV shows. That's not what we did. He comes to the house. This brother walks in, and he's like, so y'all didn't tear this out and do. I'm like, no. That's what I'm trying to tell you. We put up walls. Painted. And he's like, so this didn't get torn out? And I thought that I was like, no, you think the place got taken down to the studs and built back up. I'm like, that's not what we did. It wasn't that kind of renovation. We put on a new roof because, of course, we did. We put money in the things that you just have to have for the house, but they're nothing worth taking pictures of. A new furnace, nobody cares. The roof, you just have to do those things. They cost tens of thousands of dollars. And so he stood there with his camera like, oh, okay. And then he took some photos and all that. He's like, okay, we'll take care of this. And then they lopped off, what was it? I forgot the percentage, but when I finally got back the reassessment, they had to have cut it down by 30%. Like, it was way closer to what I thought was fair. And I was like, okay, I'll take this. And moved on from there. So and then simultaneously, because I didn't just stop at the mortgage, at the actual value of the house, the property tax, I went for the mortgage. I'm like, yeah, I don't want to pay private mortgage insurance, because what is that? I'm insuring you against me. I'm paying every month. Okay. Private mortgage insurance is me protecting the lender from me not paying my bills. Isn't that the craziest thing?
Only because you didn't have 20% to put down.
Exactly. But I just felt like, no, that ain't right. So I refinanced before the interest rate, way before the interest rates start going back up. I did refinance because we had enough equity. The only value that that bogus property tax assessment had for me was it demonstrated that we had equity in the house. So I took that. It's like, we've got more than 20% equity. I don't need the private mortgage insurance, and it came off. And so that was a pretty substantial amount of money a month, actually. I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was quite a bit that came off the mortgage. So we got rid of the private mortgage insurance.
Yes.
The property tax assessment came down, and then I started shopping for homeowners insurance because I hadn't since we've got it and moved in. I didn't even ask.
Yeah.
And I started shopping for homeowners insurance, got a couple quotes that weren't better than what we were paying, but that was okay. My home insurance company didn't know that. So I had to talk to them. And I'm like, I got this quote that's lower, and it was lower, but it was also insured less. The coverages were lower. And I was like, but it's lower. So can you see what I might be eligible for here? He's like, sure. He came back to me with a policy that had higher coverages than I had previously for half what we were paying for homeowners insurance.
I love it. I love it. What I get from this conversation, you just dropped so many gems, but what I get from this conversation is, number one, sometimes all you have to do is just ask. All you have to do is just ask. But number two is be persistent. Be persistent. Do your research and present the facts to state your case. Don't just pay because that's what the bill says and that's what they say you have to pay because of their policy. Everything can be optimized. Everything can be negotiated, but you have to come with some facts and some details to plead your case. And as a result of that, you were able to contest your tax bill, get that lowered by 30%. You were able to refinance your mortgage and prove that you had equity in the house to eliminate the PMI and lower your mortgage payment. And then you were also able to cut your homeowner's insurance in half and get more coverage. That is a prime example of optimizing your expenses. I absolutely love it. A lot of people, when they start budgeting, they think about what they need to cut out. No. My clients and I, first of all, we don't use budgets. I am the anti-budget personal finance coach. We do not use budgets, but once we put the financial system together, then we optimize. And optimize is getting something that's equal to or better than what you currently have for less cost. And what Joy has just shown you are perfect examples of 3 different ways she optimized. And Joy, if you can, I don't know if you know the number off the top of your head, but with those 3 things combined, all of those are home-related expenses, which are the largest expense that we all have. Approximately how much did you save per month by doing those 3 things and optimizing the expenses?
I think it's like once you put them all together, it was like $300 a month. So I think we started off paying like 23 and change, and now it's like 20 and change. That's a lot of money.
That is. There's a whole lot I can do with $300 a month.
Yeah, it was a lot.
$300. And imagine if you turn around and optimize all of your other expenses too. You didn't cut back anything. In fact, you ended up in a better situation because you have more coverage than what you had before. You have more coverage than what you had before. And the benefits of contesting your tax bill didn't benefit you just that one time. It has recurring benefits every single year now. And you had to put forth the effort. And I know it took a lot of time to research and gather the data, but that's what I consider a true win because it reduced your tax assessment. And now every single year you're saving. So while $300 a month, somebody may see $300 a month and say, oh, that's not a lot. Multiply that times 12. And then multiply that again every single year that you're in your home. It adds
It adds up quick. I mean, what it'll probably wind up doing is shaving like a year off what I would have been paying anyway.
mortgage, right?
Because
And I'll even take it one step further. Imagine $300 a month invested in the stock market at a 10% average rate of return. Every year, compounded for 10 plus years. I'm curious. Hold on. Look, you know I love a good financial calculator. $300 a month invested every month, starting with absolutely nothing. The 10% rate of return in 10 years, that's almost $60,000. Drop the mic. And that's assuming you haven't optimized anything else, but I know you have.
yep.
But thank you so much for sharing that.
Once you see that can be done, it really just opens up possibilities. So the one thing I would say is I feel like is the main thing I got from coaching. I'm grateful to you for embarking on this journey, because I know years and years and years ago, you're like, I ain't working myself, I ain't doing nothing.
I was not in life.
No, I'm so grateful that you did. And you stepped into your fear, your concerns, your questions, step forward. I'm grateful that I was able to partake in that. I'm glad that I got over my own fear. It was like, ask for help. Because I feel like the main thing, I got many things clearly, as you can, over the course and as you see, but I think the main thing was I saw what could be possible, and that there were different ways to get at something than one way. And once I realized that, then all the possibilities start to open up. So you're talking about investing that $300. I wasn't investing it all before because I thought I needed the money to pay off the debt. Now I'm sitting here like I am, since coaching, not only have I not gotten back into debt, I invest consistently on the simple path to wealth that you told me about umpteen years ago. And I could have done that at any time. I wasn't ready to receive it. Just wasn't. I just was convinced that it couldn't be that simple. And because I had such a hard time with this recurring cycle, I was like, it can't be that simple. It is. And now that I see these possibilities, I'm doing that. I'm investing consistently for the first time. And that feels good. I'm not missing out on anything. I'm putting away that money into investing. I am smarter about it than I have ever been. And we still do what we want. Kids go to camp. If I want a latte, because that's what I feel like having, I get it and don't ask no questions.
Exactly. We ain't cutting out no $5 latte. That's crazy.
Oh,
Buy that latte.
do what I want. I go up and down the aisles of Target and just be like, what's good? What's good? I'm very grateful for that. Coaching was worth every penny. It was worth any homework. It was worth tracking. It was worth
homework.
Yes, it was worth it. It was worth me going back to my therapist and being like, "Let's talk about this." Need to work through some things.
Yes, but you have healed so much.
I have
come so much. And look at you just flourishing. Don't you just love joy? I told you, I absolutely adore all of my clients that have become my financial besties. So if you enjoyed our conversation about Black women and wealth and you want more topics like this, go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe while you're there. But until next time, bye for now.